Hello. Somebody asked me what my setup was on my DK, so I thought I'd go over it. Um, so this tanking setup, anyway, is mostly for RDF. This is actually a unholy DK that I just ended up tanking a lot of dungeons on, so I did a build specifically for RDF. Um, so the priorities I went for were having to need as little um, defense and all that as possible. Um, so yeah, anyway, I'll go over it. I didn't go down to rune tap, which is quite useful. I went bladed armor though because in tank, well, I mean in my RDF setup using some DPS gear, some tank gear, I actually have quite a bit of armor, 31,000. So the bladed armor 5 for every 180. If you do the math, I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but it's a lot. So it's just basically about the raw aggro, raw damage. In Unholy, I went down for cooldown on Death Grip and cooldown on Death and Decay, just so I can have it up as much as possible. In Frost Talents, the idea here was basically um, give the group Icy Talents. Don't go for the dual wheel talents because I'm only gonna be using one two-hander. It just frees up talent points. Killing machine very useful. Yeah, it's very um, front loaded centric. Trying to do as much snap aggro or upfront damage as possible. The reason I think Frost is superior to pretty much all the other tank specs and RDF is because you put up Howling Blast as you walk towards attacker mobs, and with my glyph of Howling Blast, you put frost fever on everything. So you howling blast a pack as you're running towards them, and when you're in range of them, you blood boil. Blood boil will do extra damage if they're deals additional damage to targets infected with either disease. So if I want, I can like put three massive abilities on a pack of mobs kind of thing. So let's say that guy there is like a pack of mobs. Um, I'll run up, I'll drop a D&D, I'll Howling Blast on him, and then I'll Blood Boil, and I'll immediately Blood Tap and Blood Boil again. So that's the AoE still ticking from that, the disease is ticking, the Howling Blast, and a couple of Blood Boils. That's a lot of upfront aggro. It's not as much aggro as like single target spamming Icy Touch, empower room weapon and spamming Icy Touch, but for AoE tanking, it's amazing. My tank gear, it's a mix between my DPS gear and my, whatever I was able to get on off spec for tank. So my pure tank setup is 45k health with, let's get rid of some buffs. Alright, so pure, it's 42,900, so like 43k. In RDF tank setup, I lose just over for math. Yeah, so like 9k. Yeah, about 9k less health, but I'm okay with this. Because when you're tanking RDF or when you first start tanking RDF, the entry level gear only has about 17,000 health, something like that. That's if you've fully enchanted everything, fully gemmed everything. You'll have about 17 to 19k. When you first start getting a few pieces here and there, you'll be like 20k. So having 33k as a tank is quite acceptable. Most of the time, there'll be like a pally giving me kings, and I'll be closer to 40k. So you're still twice the health of like most tanks when you enter RDF, except you have like 4 or 5 times the AP. Um, a lot more aggro, a lot more damage, and usually, unless it's like another Kingslayer or Light of Dawn doing damage, then I'm usually top damage. That's just how it works out. Um, So what I've chosen to do here again is the defense in RDF is sorry, defense cap in RDF is 525, but in raid it's 540. There's another thing I haven't really mentioned it. Um, Resilience, I don't have it here on my tank setup. I do. So the shoulder enchant with the resilience, if you go down to resilience, here we go, reduces chance to be critically hit. It doesn't say by mobs or by players, just chance to be crit. And defense cap specifically targets chance to be crit by a boss. So defense cap with PvP shoulder enchant versus raid bosses 537. In dungeon it's 522. But again, if you're entering RDF with 20k with like 500 plus defense, yeah, it's real nice. But when I have this much health, running a bit lower on defense is fine too. So I'm quite happy with that. And I have a lot. Usually, when you're starting RDF, thinking you're like 20k armor, maybe even less than that. So I've got a lot more armor. I've got like a 10k more health, and I can afford to run with lower defense. I wouldn't run too low defense. You can't. Depends on your healer. If you've got a super geared healer or super confident skilled player, you can run just as a pure DPS. Just I would have gone full, just with the frost presence, but gone full DPS. Obviously, in full DPS gear, I have only a little bit less health than as a tank, 30,000 instead of 3,000. But I've got another almost 100 more defense, which is alright. I'm quite happy with that. I lose 13% crit to gain almost 100 more defense. Not bad. I hope that explains everything. Wait. Before I go. I'll go over all the RDF stuff. DPS head, because I really like the increased crit damage. It's real nice. I love that meta. Plus, strength, always good. Penumbra Pendant, Halion, 25 for Orc. Yeah, that's just gonna be hard to get, but it's what it is. Shoulders are DPS shoulders. No reason I chose those over the tank ones. I just figured healers were keeping me up fine, so I might as well do more damage. Tank and tank cloak because of the armor. I really like having green armor on gear when running this kind of setup. DPS chest because why not? I could go with that one, but it doesn't have any defense. I kind of really like the defense. So, yeah. I mean, I chose that because of the, because that doesn't give defense. If it had defense dodge, I would have probably used that and used some other DPS slot. Gotta go. Oh, that's Sourfang Tenderhawk. Green armor, defense, love it. Super useful. Glorans. Um, Amazing weapon. Just a ton of strength on it. Fallen Crusader. For RDF, your damage stats, your priority of stats you should get for doing damage as a tank is gonna be strength. Some people are gonna be like, get armor pen, you'll do more damage, but actually strength, because not all targets are. Some mobs are counted as cloth, and armor pen versus them doesn't increase your damage as much as like just pure strength. Pure strength will increase damage against everything, whereas armor pen will mostly affect plate. I use that in quotes. Plate mobs. They're still classified under plate mail or cloth or whatever armor classes. Yeah, that's all I know. Defense and hit, because I really like the hit on it, and it's got defense. And it's got the engineering. enchant as well on the green armor. It's just more AP, just more damage. So even if I run with no defense, if I have all this armor, it's still gonna be fine. Except I have to put a few pieces in where it does have it. Belt. I forget what that is. I think it's Frostwing. Not sure. Or Fister or Rotface or some shit. Yeah. Been a while. The reason why that's the gem that way is because of DPS spec. It's mainly supposed to be a DPS DK. Um, the pants are obviously quite tank pants, defense expertise, so can't complain. Uh, DPS boots because those don't give defense. I could, but I mean the gem gives defense, but I don't really need it that much. And Apocalypse Advance best boots. They're not the 284 level ones, but still pretty good. So here I went for this ring. I could try to get a better one. I mean, yeah, I don't rate that much on the DK anymore. But yeah, green armor defense. Um, Harbinger banned because it's more or less free, free defense and hit, and added a little bit of extra hit on it. Trinkets. This choice is an unholy DK trinket hard. 510 strength proc is amazing. What I would do for this is sort of Dark Moon card might be better than this, but it's still an amazing trinket. On this server on Warmane, you can get things like this just by activity points. You log into your character and then you go onto the website, and just for having logged into that character, or sorry, just for having logged into your account, you get free activity points. And I'm not sure how much that is. I think like 30 activity points, so like 30 days and you get one of those. I've got a lot of those kind of things. Uh, like that's one of those things. I could use that, but I figured the green armor would be better. A little more AP. Oh, yeah, I could slap that on. Sweet. That's all that. Sigil, 200 strength. Because 200 strength. Amazing. Um, yeah, that's just a. Mm, that's set up as a button in my unholy spec to unequip my weapon. For Lady Death Whisper when you're about to get mind controlled, or when mind control's about to go out. Yeah. Blam. Changing to the thing. Yeah, down here. So, front mouse button, rear mouse button. Equip. Missing it could not be equipped. Here we go. Alright, mind control, front mouse button, unequips weapon, rear mouse button, swaps sets, and equips weapon. That's all it is. Sweet. Macros and stuff. Macros. I try to put start attack on every ability. So I'm not missing attacks as I'm running away or towards stuff. Um, just my DPS cooldown here. Using my engineering gloves, Blood Fury, Racial, etc. This here, I think this was a tanking cooldown. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played it. There's an effect that happens when you pop up Blood Tap as a tank. Yeah, that one there. So you activate Blood Tap, you get 12% damage reduction for 10 seconds from your tier 10. You Blood Tap, and then you pop it. You use the same button again, and it gets rid of Blood Tap because Blood Tap. Ah, it gets rid of the effect so that your runes can come back on cooldown sooner. Some shit like that. Yeah. So basically, you get the damage cooldown, and you don't mess up your rotation by disabling blood tap or the some conversion or something. It's about not messing up your rotation, I think. Um, back to macros. Mount macro standard, flyable, no flyable, mounted, etc. Obliterate, start attack, obliterate. Uh, there's not really much to it. It's pretty much just start attack and everything. Start attack pistol. Just why not? Yeah, pretty simple. Pet. Oh yeah, you can actually dismiss your ghoul, even as unholy. Um, even though it doesn't have the ability anywhere. Um, you do this. It's a console command. It dismisses pets on all classes. If you have a pet of any kind that's got a pet bar, or even if it doesn't have a pet bar, I think it'll still dismiss it. Um, so like if you're blood, you summon a ghoul, you can still dismiss it. So yep, dismiss and then castrate that. Sweet. So the the whole thing about this DK is you're running your Howling Blast that applies Ice Fever, and then as you're running past your Blood Boil a couple times, Blood Tap, then do it again. And yeah, that's it.